Alright, guys, I'm going to talk about being a masculine male today because I do think it's important. I do think that the media is really messing some of this stuff up lately and it's causing a lot of confusion. Um, because I see a lot of people aren't 100% where they should fit in society, but one of the things I will say is that as a masculine male, it should be a case of don't care. It should be a case of you set yourself in a direction. Now, there's certain points that I want to bring up about masculine males and certain things that they do. There's certain traits, certain things that they have. First one is confidence. Now, the confidence comes in many forms in the sense of because they have a direction, they don't really care what other people think. They're not really relying on others. They're focusing on taking their life from point A to point B in the direction they've chosen. It helps because many other things will fall into place behind that. So being confident helps in so many ways. A lot of the time, you'll hear people talk about business stuff. If you're looking at businesses and how they're marketing a certain product or whatever, you could have 10 products all the same, and one of them stands out because it's pushed as being the product, and that's the one you need to buy. That's the best on the market. Blah blah blah. And that is 99% confidence. And a lot of it could be just hot air. But at the same time, that is why people buy into it. They buy into the person, then buy into the product. So confidence is very, very important. Another thing is independence. Many people today are too reliant on other people. I recommend, if you can, try and focus yourself in a more independent way. Be more masculine. Do things for yourself. Do things for your personal development. Do things that you want to do. Because a lot of the time, people think too much about others, and often those others don't think enough about them. So there is nothing wrong with you focusing yourself in a direction and actually pushing yourself forward. Other people will either follow behind or they'll complain about it or whatever, but you're the only person living your life. If you're letting other people control it, you're doing it all wrong. And I reckon that if you're more of a strong decision maker in the sense of being more independent in the way that you handle things and more independent on how you let people treat you, because a lot of the time is we're often kicked back. I mean, I can give you an example in business, where I got a call late at night to go somewhere, and it's like you must go. And I'm like, there is no must. I can quit. I could quote you your own contract with me, but the one thing there isn't is a must. And as soon as they realized I couldn't be pushed because they were hoping I would just get out of bed and go and sort something out for them, it was a case of they had to change their whole strategy. Now, if I'd gone the other way, oh yeah, I'll be straight there and whatever, do you know what? They would constantly be doing it. And that's what happens in life. There is nothing wrong with you standing your ground and turn around and say, like I did, there is no must. There is, there's possible, I can quit, I can quote your contract, I can quote the fact that my working hours don't include this evening and you shouldn't be calling me outside of business hours. They're the options. And at the same time, just doing that, I didn't get into an argument. He retracted. Instantly retracted. Could you please do it because we're in a bit of a... It's like difference in tone, difference in attitude. And you know what? Never did it twice. Because the whole point is don't mind helping people out, but at the same time, don't let them expect that they can do it to suit themselves. Because the way I look at it, it says, hey, if you're phoning me, you're up this time at night, you could go yourself. So there's things like that. And having a direction in life is important. It's hard sometimes. Let's be honest. I mean, a lot of people get stuck into what other people have thought's best for them. When you're leaving school and they plan you to go to college, or you're going to work at the same factory as your dad did, or whatever. It's often programmed for you. That's what schools are for. But what you need to understand is, as an individual, this is part of personal development. You cut your own path. You make your own decisions. You have control of your own destiny. Other people will interfere in it if you give them the opportunity to do so. So understand that you can change that. You can chart your course. There is nothing wrong with it. It's what you should be doing. But often there's many restraints and stuff in life that are trying to tell us the opposite. You know, like I say, schooling is about you follow. Not you lead, you follow. And the other thing on all of these points is to be focused. If you look at a lot of, well, the majority of masculine males are very focused on what they're doing, what they're achieving, but also they're recognizing, like I said, when you notice somebody's telling you to do something, you see that stuff. I've had a few people here in Spain, I've actually opened them up to how things are manipulated. And once you start seeing it, you are very switched on to it because there's certain words and things that are red flags instantly. And it doesn't mean you have to become a conspiracy theorist or political or something. It's just that you see through it. You're not buying into the mainstream stuff. You switch off to it, or you just go, yeah, whatever. And you move past it. But you're focused on your life. You're focused on your own evolution, your own development, your own progress. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's important for an individual to have that. I've had it in relationships where I've had, partners come back and said, oh, yeah, but you stopped my career development. I'm like, I never stopped anything. You forget it was me that took you to college because you didn't even know what you wanted to do. You actually got a job and everything because I put you in a direction because you had no direction. Wasn't controlling or anything else. But often this is where people try and go, oh, it's your fault. It's only your fault if you let people do it to you. It's certainly not my fault. She didn't have a direction at the time. And then she tried to use that against me. But she come out with a qualification. She got a job from it. And she could go wherever she liked from that. Is that such a bad thing? No. But the whole point is, up to that point, she had no direction. Because her parents didn't give her a direction. Her parents weren't very good. There was no focus from her entire family. They were very centered around themselves, and it was just a dysfunctional group. But it doesn't mean that even if you come from that background, you can't change. It's just that you've got to recognize you've got to change. And that's the important element in this, is you've got to recognize that in this pity state that we see in today's world, where it's a no-blame culture, it's somebody else's fault, I come from this, or I had this go wrong, you know what? As a masculine male, take control of your own life. If you have a bad experience, guess what? It's a bad experience. When I have problems in my own life, I put it down as experience. I don't drag it out for the next 20, 30 years. Because do you know what that does? It wastes your time, your energy, your effort. Don't waste it. Doesn't matter what it is. And you know, if you've got come out of a bad relationship or whatever, what you'll find a lot of people hate most is success. So if you come out and put yourself on a better path than you were on before, guess what? A lot of people don't like that. So if you want your ultimate revenge, sort yourself out. Make yourself successful. Move forward. But also remember, as a masculine male, other people's opinions don't matter. And that's the next point. Other people's opinions don't matter. A lot of this stuff that was dragged in is from a female's perspective. Females are worried about how they look. When you're out fixing your car with a ripped t-shirt and oiled up shorts or whatever, you don't care. Your partner may think, what will the neighbors think? Why don't you take it to the garage? It's like, do you know what? Because I can do it myself. I'm a masculine male. I can fix a car. I can do this. And do you know what? I don't care. You know, if you're unhappy, fine, but I'm still fixing the car. But the point being is, you will find a lot of this is around the marketing side. It's around selling something. It's around pushing something. There's an alternative motive there, ulterior motive. It's not about you. It's about selling you something. It's about making you do something. It's about making you think something. You know, like you must get the car fixed at a garage. Well, sorry, it doesn't need to go to the garage if you can fix it yourself. If you want to fix it, do it. It's not just about the ability to fix things yourself. Don't get me wrong. It's not just about the cost savings. It's about the independence of doing things yourself. A lot of this has been pulled away from us, from nanny state and trying to control us and take more money from us all the time. But as a masculine male, recognize it. If you want to do something yourself, do it yourself. It's up to you. Nobody controls that from you. And this gets to my final point on that, is being a bit more detached. Although you can be in a relationship, it doesn't mean you have to be in a relationship. You know, as a masculine male, you're comfortable with time with yourself. You're comfortable with being on your own or with somebody else. That's part of being a masculine male. And I've had people before say, oh, you know, what if you could end up single or whatever, later on in years, because I am fairly independent. I am very focused on the way I want to be. And the answer to that is, it wouldn't bother me. Now, don't get me wrong. I am happily married, got a fantastic wife, etc. But what I'm saying is, I'm not going to be somebody that will sit there and stew for 2 years because of a relationship breaks up or something. You got to cut your own path in life. And that's part of being a masculine male. And an important aspect of this is recognizing a lot of the false stuff that's out there today. A lot of the stuff that we're fed in media is not correct. If you look at where you live and the people you know, then compare them to a lot of these TV shows and stuff. How many of them even match up? How many are these, like, you get a family, it's this and that. They're not organic. They're forced for political agenda, political correctness. They are not normality. Don't get me wrong. I'm not being anti this or anti that. I'm saying that they are focused in a way that is not organic and natural. In the sense that if you take Balamory, kids TV show, you look at that small fishing village, which has got the real one has a small population, and then look at the different people it's put in there to try and make that as a typical Scottish village. It's not. It's nowhere near. But it's politically forced. It's a political agenda. It's political correctness. There is nothing wrong with being a masculine male. And that's one of the things I want to portray and sort of push out there, is there is nothing wrong with being a masculine male. It's what a male's supposed to be. It's what a male's supposed to be doing. All this other stuff is only recent changes. And I can understand that some people have a chip on their shoulder about this, equality or whatever, but it doesn't mean I have to change. I'm not anti anything. But the only thing I am anti is in changing the way that I am. Because I don't have an issue with anybody's rights. I don't have an issue with what somebody wants to be, or who's, should women have more jobs in business. I'm not interested in any of that. Because, quite simply, the reality is, why should I have to change something that I haven't influenced? There's a lot of stuff out there that is skewed. They assume you must do this, and it's forced. Like I was saying, Balamory is a forced political correctness village. But at the same time, you've got to understand that it's a media that's being forced upon us, as if in many cases they assume masculine men or men in general have done something wrong. I haven't. Generation before me probably didn't. Generation before that, maybe. But you know what? That's evolution. Changes. But it doesn't mean that I have to change the way it is as a man to suit what other people think I should be doing. Because the problem you've got then is what they're complaining about, they're trying to do to masculine males. Because like I said, I have no problem with it. I've got friends who are gay, I've got friends who are lesbian, I've got friends who are transgender, all sorts. And you know what? I'm not interested in their sexuality or anything, because it's got nothing to do with their job. It's got nothing to do with their social interactions with me. It's about their own choices, and you know, they can make their own choices, because I'm not interfering with that. I'm not telling them they can't do this or can't do that. And that's where this is a little bit skewed, because I'm not doing that and they're not doing that to me. But don't get me wrong, a lot of the stuff online today is trying to do it and trying to say that I should change my views and perspectives. There's nothing wrong with my views. I'm very live and let live. I don't need to know what people's relationships are with each other and stuff, because from a professional point of view in business, I couldn't care less. Most of the people I know on a professional level, we don't engage on a who's married to who, how many kids have got, and all that stuff, because on a professional level, we couldn't care less. We're too busy. We're not going out for lunch with their partners and stuff. It's just not what we do. And don't get me wrong, I know other people may do that, but there is nothing wrong with being you being who you are. There is nothing wrong with being a masculine male. There is many positive sides to being a masculine male. One of those being, I know somebody will probably comment about, oh, well, you must be like this or that, you know, is I'm confident in my sexuality. I'm a masculine male. I am attracted to women. There is nothing wrong with that. But I don't have any issues with interacting with people with different sexualities and stuff, because I have no fear of that. I don't care what other people think. Because for me, because this is where it gets a bit weird, because even I've got a friend who will say, oh yeah, but what if they find you attractive? It's like, why are you even going down that route? Because the whole point is, I'm straight. And I'm confident in my sexuality, I'm happily married, etc. Why would there be an assumption just because somebody is like that? Because you could have the same assumption if there was, you're working in an office with lots of women. Oh, well, there must be some of them attracted to you in that. Who cares? Who cares? That's not what my goal is here. I'm not, oh, I must be chatting with somebody I must have some sort of relationship with. What are you talking about? And that's one of the things that I would say is another important aspect of being a masculine male, is there's nothing wrong with being confident in who you are. There's nothing wrong with, oh, I've got friends who are this or that. You know what? That's who they are. If you're friends with them, you're friends with them. What they do in their spare time, what they do in their bedroom is none of your business. And that's one of the things I would say, don't get locked into that. A lot of this time, people that will go, oh yeah, but you're hanging out with these people. It's like, yeah, like with the call center. I think there's about 12 people that were gay, lesbian, or transgender. But guess what? Great call center agents. I have no issues with what anybody does in there, you know, because guess what? It's a professional environment. The only thing they have to do is sell. The rest of it is their business, and it's nothing to do with the call center. It's nothing to do with the business. And the point being is, I'm friends with a lot of these guys, girls, whatever they want to call themselves, but at the same time, I have no issue with, oh yeah, you know this, so you must be. Are you 12? Be more confident in yourself. That's the important thing. Beyond that, a lot of this other stuff will fall into place. You'll find if you are looking for a partner or not looking for a partner, you'll find being more confident in yourself and developing yourself around a more masculine male, or maybe you already are a masculine male, that you will find you'll attract people anyway. It's all part and parcel of the same thing. A lot of this stuff that we're sold in magazines and stuff, it's just marketing. It's sales. It's trying to make out, like, oh, the French are the most attractive men in the world, or compared to what? What was your catchment? What's the information? Oh, we asked 100 women that live in France. The point being is a lot of this stuff is just manipulated beyond belief, and like the saying goes, what was it? I'm trying to remember it now. 100% of people agree that marketing can be manipulated in any way you want. Same with surveys. You could ask a certain catchment of 1,000 people and then find out that the client you're working for wouldn't be happy with results. So you cut it down to 500 and you take regions and stuff out to just get the catchment with the positivity. So it goes from, say, 30% think to 70% think, because you've removed the negative ones. That's life, that's society, that's the environment we're living in today. But there's nothing wrong with being a masculine male. Thanks for watching.